Guys, welcome back. We are your authors for Kinetic. I'm Greg Raymond.
And I'm Laz Manish.
Today, guys, we want to talk about... That was a long shit.
I wasn't done.
We want to talk about music, which is something that's really important to the both of us. Like when we write Kinetic, what music gets us in the mood and stuff like that.
Just listening to you. It's like listening to you talk.
I like to talk. So, let's dive in. Laz, what kind of music do you listen to when you're Kinetic?
I'm a huge fan of classic rock. I don't know if anybody knew that. Maybe in the About Me author videos that we did.
Maybe. I remember those, yeah.
I never mentioned music. If you guys haven't watched that, there's a link right there. You have to make a link.
Nah, I have to make a link. I do all the editing for these videos. Thanks, Laz.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so you listen
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both said at the same time. So I listen to a lot of classic rock. A lot of like 80s pop, like some Michael Jackson, love it. A lot of 80s as well too. I mean, Metallica, Megadeth, Poison. Like, I listen to a wide range of decades, but they all pretty much sound like they all could be classified as classic rock.
So it's the same genre, but you definitely like...
Yeah, like the evolution of rock.
Perfect.
That's a good title of anything. The evolution of rock.
Do you want to drop any songs, or shall we just get into the next segment?
Let's just get into the next segment.
I
can't think of any songs right now.
So, when we were talking about it, I wanted to kind of come up with just a list of songs that I think really body the characters of Kinetic. Like, when I hear these songs, me personally, I think of that character, or I think of that situation or that relationship between two characters, or so on and so forth. So,
and we've talked about this before. We've talked about like the setting the mood and everything like that.
Yeah,
what do we feel like? What do we listen to when we're trying to like write a love scene or some action scenes and everything like that? So we've talked about this, but we're gonna try to, and I underline the word try, to actually go into certain songs that we think of think about when we're actually writing. Like, let's say Tori, Dmitri, and all the main ones.
Exactly. Shall we kick it off?
He's got a list.
I do have a list. First on the list, let's start off with one of the first relationships in the story would be between Dmitri and Rose. So when I think of the relationship between Dmitri and Rose, if Dmitri was going to pick a song to Rose, it would definitely be Don't You Remember by Adele. The reason is... I'm serious. Like, their relationship was very strong, but then Dmitri kind of had to go away, and it suffered because of it. And then when he
just
came
like
back,
any other long distance relationship.
When he came back, it wasn't the same anymore. So for a while, Dmitri was trying to get Rose to remember all the great things about their relationship and see if they could rekindle it. But you'll have to find out if that works or not. Now, for Rose to Dmitri, this is a classic for everybody. I feel like Evanescence My Immortal. Is there one song that tugs on your heartstrings more than Evanescence My Immortal? It's so sad. It's like...
He's got a list.
It is ridiculously sad. And I feel like that's the song she would play for him to express how she feels. Let's talk about Tori and Dmitri. Now, if Tori was going to pick a song for Dmitri, it would be Clarity by Zedd, which is kind of like a house or trance song, or whatever the kids are calling it these days. But it has a very strong and specific message. Like, it's very realistic on how two people that probably shouldn't be together but are together would handle things. So.
Is this like a Kinetic reviews Kinetic music?
It kind of is, actually. Next on the list would be what Dmitri would play for Tori, and not to be cliche, just because Dmitri's an African American character, but I feel like he does have a lot of soul.
I feel like you didn't need to say that.
I did, though. I did. And I'm black, so I can. So, Dmitri would pick Teach Me How to Love by Musiq Soulchild. That's actually his name of the artist, Musiq Soulchild.
Of course it is.
And that whole song is just like, as a man, like, I was taught to just be a strong person, and maybe I don't know how to show my more vulnerable side or my softer side. So, just be patient with me and things will work out. Next, we have the main love story. We have Alex and Cassie. So if Cassie was going to pick a song for Alex, she would pick
Only Exception by Paramore, apparently.
And we both like that song. I feel like you could.
It is. I mean, she came from a broken family. I'm talking about Cassie, not the character in that song, but so did the character from that song. And her parents fell apart, and she kind of gave up on love for a long time until she actually met Alex, and and he actually became her only exception.
Yes. See,
Words
exactly.
and stuff.
Now, if Alex was to pick a song for Cassie, I went with I Could Die For You by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because that is a song that's about selflessness. In the song, the character is pretty much just saying, you know, I would do anything. I would lay down my life because I love you this much, and there's nothing that I would not do to keep
And
you
there's
safe.
a ton of songs like that. Even Prince has a "I Would Die For You" song, and you know, it's if you guys heard any of these songs or read the book, you would instantly put them together.
All right. Now, if Sora was to pick a song for Lucas, it's not an unknown song. It was popular, like, I guess a few years ago, but not a lot of people would know it. It's A Fine Frenzy. Her song is Almost Lover. And that is because in that song, the whole premise is it's this character who is saying, you know, you tricked me. I really thought that I meant this much to you, that you loved me this much, and you were almost my lover, but in actuality, you're just selfish and you were only in it for yourself. Which I think fits perfectly for
It does. I mean,
Sora
Lucas used Sora, to rob banks and pretty much do whatever he wanted to do,
Yeah.
right up until the end, which I won't tell because there's still a couple people that haven't read it, believe it or not.
Really?
There are a couple. I mean, I know hundreds of millions have read it, but there are billions of people on this planet.
This is true. Now, if we were to pick Lucas to select a song for Sora, it is going to be One More Day by Vast.
I've never heard any of these songs, by the way.
I like to branch out. I like to listen to different. But so this is just a really sad, somber song, and it's just about how this character who messed up and took for granted the relationship that he had, and now this person that he finally realized he loved is no longer in his life. Whether she died or moved away, they didn't specify, but the whole song is just he would beg for just one more day with her. He would do anything. He would sacrifice it all for one more day with this person. And if you finish the first book, you'll see why I chose that song. Now, individually, let's just run through it. A song that reminds me specifically of Lucas, we'll just go back to Lucas, would be Linkin Park, Leave Out All the Rest. Can you guess why I picked that song, Laz?
No, I cannot. Can you explain it to me?
It's just because the whole song is, when I die, why am I going to be remembered? Why am I going to be missed? That's the whole point of the song. So with Lucas, he has this underlining tone of being a bad guy, or he wants to be good, but he's conflicted inside. And I feel like deep down he wants to be a good person, and he just wants reasons to be missed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think so?
I think so. I mean,
If you're gonna pick Linkin Park, I would feel like you would pick One Step Closer.
why would you pick One Step Closer?
Because everything he does brings him one step closer to the edge, and he's about to break.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
But if you guys knew Lucas's intentions, which we reveal, we hint about in the second book and reveal in the third book, you would understand why each step he takes brings him closer to something that drives him to do what he does.
Exactly. Now, Christian Mercado of Kinetic. I picked 3 Days Grace, the animal I have become, because
But why though?
Chris goes on a journey throughout the story. He really
The second
does.
book mostly.
Mostly.
And a lot of your songs are like hinting into the second book and what we've been working on.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. And you haven't really like captured the music of the first book, which a lot of people know and understand.
I feel like since the first book was so introductory, it wasn't really them. It was like when you first meet someone and you're coming out of your shell. But in the second book, they're stripped. That's who they are. They're their raw character. But I do see what you're saying. A lot of the songs that I picked are as the story progresses. It's not so much the very first chapter or second chapter of Kinetic.
Yeah, I mean, and it is true that Chris does go through, some trials and tribulations, and he becomes something that a shell of his former self, because he does become something that's because Chris is he's a fun-loving, he jokes around a lot and everything like that, but then because of what he went through for a while, he became a more serious, little bit manic character. And I can see why you picked that song, but nobody else did that.
no, they won't. But when they go back, read the book, and then watch this video, they'll be like, I get it. I get it. So moving on, we have Dmitri, and Dmitri, he's a tough guy. He's the bad boy of group. He's badass. So I went with Warrior by Lloyd Banks, and that song is just a get riled up, amp, I will mess you up if you cross me type song. Like, step to my face, I'm gonna lay your teeth out on the floor. That's what that kind of song is.
Frank's getting ghetto.
I am.
Frank's getting ghetto.
I feel like that is, Dmitri at the core. Like, he doesn't play that mess. So that's why
He don't play that mess.
he don't. And that's why I went with that song. So
That song don't play that mess either.
you should listen to it. All these songs.
He makes messes. He don't clean it up.
That's right. He came for two things: to chew bubblegum and kick ass. He's all I got. We have, you know what? Let's go to Tori. California Girls by Katy Perry.
I feel like that's easy. I feel like that's just
Well, why is that easy?
Cause Tori's a California girl.
There you have it. But it's also very fun-loving. It's not serious. It's silly. And, Tori, you can't really take her seriously all the time. She's just, like, in her own world.
I mean, not to be stereotypical, but she's a California girl that's a little blonde.
Yeah, blonde, ditzy.
She's not ditzy. She's a smart girl, but
She has moments.
she doesn't have a lot of common sense.
Yeah. Or book sense, or...
Stop. She got money sense.
Oof.
That wallet, though.
Paper stacks. It's got to be screwed with duct paper. Alright, we have Cassie, the sensible one of the group. I went with Of Monsters and Men, Little Talks. And the reason I went with that, you know that. If I play any of these songs, you're like, oh, I know that song.
Sure.
The reason I went with that is just because it's a song all about how, you go through so much in life, and then you come to a point where you're unsure of your next move. Like, is it right? Is it wrong? Are you doing the right thing? And then you think back and you come to a place where you're like, you know what? No matter what, as long as I hold true to myself, I'm going to be okay. And that's why I went with Of Monsters and Men.
I think of Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. Is it Beethoven?
I don't know. You're on your own. I'm not going to make myself look stupid. You're on your own.
Moonlight Sonata is a good song, though.
She is very classical in that sense. I can see that. For Sora, we have Asian Kung Fu Generation, Mugen, Glider. And before anyone casts judgment, I love this song. Regardless if I was writing Kinetic, because little known fact about me, I actually like cartoons and anime, and I speak a little Japanese, which you guys saw about me. So I love this song regardless of who it's for. It's just, it fits a little better for Sora.
I'm not even gonna go there.
It does. So see, that's crazy.
You might as well.
No.
You might as well saying I'm turning Japanese by the vapors.
But I dig it.
Oh my Jesus.
Mugen Glider. Go listen to it. And then lastly, our main character. I went, and I think Lad's gonna agree with me on this one. I went Go the Distance by Michael Bolton, which is a Disney song.
I agree.
You don't? You know that song.
I can go the distance.
It's so like a song about trying your best on this upcoming journey that you're going through, and just wanting to come home to a place where everyone's proud of you, everyone welcomes you, everyone's like,
What movie was that from again?
Hercules, which is another great movie. So I feel like that one embodies Alex pretty well. He wants to make his grandfather proud. He wants to do right by others. He wants to be a hero and all this other stuff. And that's what the song is about. So that is my playlist. My brief thrown together playlist for Kinetic. That's
brief. We're sitting at 14 minutes.
That doesn't matter. It's 14 minutes well spent. So guys, go listen to these songs. All these songs that I just listed, I assure you, they're awesome and they kick ass. So yeah, that's about it. As always, thank you for watching. I am Greg Hero Raymond.
And I'm Laz Mash.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Later, up top.